Good. I'll start talking. This is a live show. I don't know. I'm not sure, but Stacy was making some comment about me moving my computer.
No, I wasn't. I was asking about your screensaver being a lion.
Oh, it's a lie. I don't know. I have random pictures on my
Oh.
screen. I can't explain it. They come from some server somewhere. That's Kyle Charters down at the end waving at you. This is Gold and Black Live, and we're glad that you are here. And we will do a little bit of housekeeping. The sponsors you see behind Stacy that's Triple X, and on the hill but on the level, a Purdue tradition since 1929. Basham Rentals, John Basham, big Purdue supporter. He happens to rent apartments to students and other people that would like to rent them. That's not the liner he wrote for me, but that's what I decided to give. Hilton Garden Inn, when tomorrow is a big day. State HGI tonight. State Farm agent Trent Johnson, trentismyagent.com. Those are our loyal sponsors, and we are grateful for them. We're also grateful that we kind of laugh, but there is a lot of truth to it. By the time we get to this show, you've really talked about the same topic maybe 7, 8 times, 10, 12, 13, 14 times, but you're going to have something fresh and new to say just for this audience on the quarterbacks.
I still have a lot of energy today. I'm excited.
Okay, go.
I'm so excited I didn't take off my hoodie, and I decided to look homeless this afternoon. So
I couldn't decide what to wear, so it's cold out. I got shorts on. I don't understand. The quarterbacks. You have said on the record that you think it will be Danny Etling. You both have. I've said that as well. That maybe nobody's listening to me, but is it still? Do you still feel that way at 2 o'clock in the afternoon?
Yeah, I still think it's going to be Danny Etling. I think that was pretty evident, and not just what we saw during practice this week, but also in what has been said throughout the week as well. I think they're saying a lot without saying it, which seems like what they do now, especially when it comes to the quarterback situation. On Wednesday, Etling had all the number 1 team reps. Appleby did get some reps with the ones against the scout team defense, so I guess you could look at that either way. Technically, he did get some 1 reps, but it wasn't. I assume the team reps are more important. I guess I don't know why I assume that. I just do. And if that is the case, then Etling got them all.
I think we felt even that it was going to be Etling probably as soon as, Sunday maybe?
Yeah.
That it was still going to be him.
You were adamant on Monday's show that it should be Austin
no, I was
Appleby.
adamant. Well, are you going to ask me who it should be now or not? Because I was pretty adamant that it should be Appleby, but I had a feeling that as the week, maybe not Sunday, but by Monday afternoon,
after the
I
show.
think we were feeling like there was a pretty good chance that it was going to be Etling, and all those signs since then have sort of reinforced that feeling.
Yeah, and I think too these games, especially ones that one that was such a disappointing. I think if you're a Purdue fan last week, you tend to have a natural progression where the sky is falling, and then as you move up, looking at from Purdue's perspective, as the week changes, week goes into the week, you tend to feel a little bit differently. I had kind of the same reaction after thinking, boy, I think it'll be Appleby, but then as I thought about it more and thought about the natural progression of things and what would make sense, I see Etling winning out. But could we be surprised tomorrow night? Is there any way that happens?
I want to say no. I mean, obviously you could always be surprised, but I would be shocked. I'll say it that strongly. I would be absolutely shocked if Austin Appleby is the starting quarterback tomorrow.
Why did you feel, strongly? Obviously Appleby comes in, throws a touchdown pass, completes 7 of 17 passes, and I think his arm was tired just because it was going 100 miles an hour, and it seemed like in the last 3 possessions. But what do you think Appleby brings specifically to the table against somebody like Notre Dame?
I'm not sure it's necessarily what Appleby brings, and that I feel like Etling right now is having some mental issues with playing quarterback, and I just don't think that you can put him out there with expectation of great success against Notre Dame, considering the issues he has had through the first couple of weeks. I mean, to me, there is something not right, and if it's not physical, then he's having some sort of mental overload that's causing him to be so erratic with his passes. And to me, the solution to that is to sit him down and play the other guy, and the other guy is Austin Appleby. Now, will Appleby solve all their problems? No. But I think for Purdue right now, he's the guy you should go with.
Okay, so if he's having a mental overload or mental struggles, and you bench him, what's that going to do for his confidence and his mental instability or whatever?
I don't know what your goal. I don't know what your goal is to win the game that is next on the schedule. right? That's a goal. Win the
Oh,
game
yeah,
that's next
for
on the
sure.
schedule.
I think
don't
it should be
disagree
the
with
goal,
that.
yeah. However, I'm not sure that that's necessarily realistic, and that's another topic altogether. I do think that when you look at Appleby, also, I mean, it presents the team dynamic thing is hard to judge and would determine what will the team respond best to. It's just really, sure they were excited last week when he comes in and throws the touchdown pass. It's a hard thing to gauge, and I think it is they're both in a difficult position. I do think the one other thing that you talked about a lot this week, and that is the whole notion of overload, really didn't seem to be targeted at Austin Appleby, because there wouldn't be a way that he would be overloaded.
Well, I think
Or do you agree with that?
you're asking. Well, the coaches are saying
Yeah.
it's both of them.
Yes.
I disagree. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can say that.
Say it.
I don't know how you can say. Well, I was going to say disagree. I guess technically I would disagree with that, but I don't know how you can say that when Appleby really hasn't gotten a chance to show you that he.
Yeah.
I mean, for him, the one thing we don't know about Austin Appleby is what kind of a quarterback is he when he's in a game in a normal circumstance. We've seen him both times he's been on the field where he's just like, out there slinging the ball around, has no kind of balance really on the offense, so the defense can kind of, just pin their ears back and rush the passer, which was why J.J. Prince, you hope this isn't an issue for J.J. Prince going forward, but on those last couple series, Appleby really didn't have any protection because Prince just couldn't handle it when the guy was just rushing. So we don't know if Appleby can be the answer because we have never seen him in a real game kind of situation.
Yeah.
I don't know why they were lumping those two together. I mean, I guess they're doing it so that they can protect Etling a little bit. And I say protect as in not publicly criticize him to try and keep his confidence up as best they can. But why the two different sets of circumstances for both guys. And I agree with Stacy. I don't know if Austin Appleby. I don't know if he would be a quarterback that goes out there and throws 4 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, or 2 and 2, or 0 and 5, or
Right.
I have no idea. We have not seen him in that kind of situation.
It is going to take courage for either one of them to face down deal with Notre Dame's pass rush, or the brunt of Notre Dame's pass rush. Sheldon Day on down the line. This is a very, very good defense. And we're going to have Lou Emoji on in segment 3, but from Notre Dame. But this is a defense that Purdue put 24 points on them last year. And moved the ball through the air somewhat. They didn't on the ground at all. Rob Henry, I think, threw for 250 yards or so. But this is a different, even a better defense, I think, far better than what we saw last year.
Well, it's a different defense,
Yeah.
isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
you have a different coordinator, and from what we can understand just from, watching some of the games, or some of the game last week, and then just, talking to people who know Notre Dame football, it's a different defense. I mean, first off, you have a 4-man front versus a 3-4, which changes some things.
Yeah.
And then just when you have an NFL guy who was an NFL defensive coordinator, which is just crazy to me.
Yeah.
That, I mean, top shelf guy in the NFL coming here and, using a lot of young, inexperienced guys, and they're still having success by, really confusing quarterbacks and offensive line, especially on 3rd down with the blitz packages they're bringing and just, disguising coverages. It's so funny to me that this week the coaches are talking about the quarterbacks needing to not stress out and not really try to analyze and just relax when more than ever
I'm stressed for him right now.
and I mean more than ever this defense is going to do those things. So to me, if you're like, well, I'm just not going to worry about it. If that guy looks like he's coming, he's probably not really coming. I'm going to throw it that way. That's probably going to be a pick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
It's semantics, though.
In any offense,
we got to say that
in
stuff.
any offense, your quarterback is really, really under pressure to understand what's happening. Certainly, he has everything on his shoulders, and it just seems like where Purdue is right now, I don't know what you do, because it's just a really tough position, especially against this defense.
Now, go ahead.
I'm usually in the Notre Dame is overrated camp, especially early on in the season, but I think they're pretty legit, right? They're number 11 and trending up, I think. I mean, they've been pretty good.
Yeah, and 31-0, Michigan not shut out since 1984, and it really could have been 38-0. Okay, a couple other things. We're trying to induce you to also, just because we put subjects up there, it just doesn't mean you can't join in and ask questions. We're giving away 4 sets of 2 tickets to next week's game against Southern Illinois. Noon kickoff in Ross-Ade Stadium. So if you chat in your questions and we happen to like them in some way, we will offer you or somebody that's close to you or a friend of yours 2 tickets to the Purdue
Going down the list.
Southern Illinois game. Well, we have viewers from around the world, so they may not be able to make it in on their corporate jet or their personal jets in for the Southern Illinois game. Let's move on to topic 2, the facilitator. Facilitator defined, and that also was something that was bandied about a lot on our message boards this week, and even Morgan Burke weighed in on that comment in your Gold and Black radio interview, which you should tune into or download and drive for later today or tomorrow. But Stacy, I'll start with you. You started the argument, didn't you?
I don't know, why is it an argument?
It is not an argument. It was a word that was said by coaches, correct?
That has been since the beginning of the year. So I'm not sure why people all of a sudden are like, where's this word coming from? John Shoup and Daryl Hazel have said this, and both of the quarterbacks have said this for a while now. What they want in this offense, especially after last season when they feel like, they can kind of pick an offense, after going through 2 quarterbacks last year, is a player who they call a point guard at the quarterback spot, who releases the ball quickly and gets it into the hands of playmakers. So there's not supposedly that much pressure on the quarterback, and you don't need the quarterback to maybe win that game. You let the other guys win the game.
Can you facilitate an offense when your defense is giving up too many points?
That's a good question, and that's what Daryl Hazel and John Shoup, I think it's definitely Daryl Hazel's vision of what he wants his offense to be, and I think that John Shoup then, is obviously going along. That makes it sound like it's being forced or something, like going along with it. But I think that that's their vision then together now that they're here as a head coach and an offensive coordinator. But yeah, what do you do when your defense allows 30 points a game?
And I also don't think it is a derogatory term. Even Morgan Burke said on the radio, it doesn't mean that they're not capable, that they're just game managers. They have to do more than that in this offense. Would you agree with that? You better make plays if you're a quarterback.
I agree with that. You got to, every quarterback facilitates in some respects. I would disagree that Drew Brees was a facilitating quarterback necessarily. He went out and won the game.
Playmaker, yeah.
Yeah, playmaker. The guy, he's zipping the ball around.
Let's say he effectively distributed the football about as effectively as you can. But
yes, he influenced strongly
Yeah.
the outcome of the game,
which most quarterbacks
There's
do.
no doubt. He wasn't facilitating to get it to Chris Daniels. No offense to Chris Daniels. Chris Daniels was a pretty darn good player because Drew was throwing him the football.
21 times against Michigan State, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
So that was a lot of catches. Okay, now we'll come to the next question. What is a win for tomorrow? Define win besides, more points than Notre Dame. That would be one of the great upsets in the history of the program. But what can you define a win any other way tomorrow for Purdue?
I have trouble. I'm a bottom line guy for the most part, so I have trouble. When I do the grade card on Sunday nights, I sometimes have trouble. Bottom line, how many yards they give up. That's how you grade them a little bit. So it's hard for me to say win if you don't come out ahead on the scoreboard. However, I think you got to take some sort of steps forward, and to me, it's about looking. It's about facilitating the passing game.
Yeah.
Maybe. It's got to be better. You've got to be better. You cannot. You're going to have trouble in a lot of games if you can't get a passing game done. And so you need to see something tomorrow to indicate that against lesser opponents, you'll be able to pass the ball down the field.
See, I think it's interesting because we're using better, but the opponent's also considerably
Maybe the best
considerably better too. So Purdue could be way better, and it may not show up as better because the caliber of athletes are going against. We talked about this a little bit on the pregame radio show, and I said, and what I wanted, and I think I said before the season too, what I wanted to see from the team this year was just for them to compete. I know Morgan Burke has used the term, no variability of play, and I certainly think that that's something that you need to at least compete and execute at some kind of level in some area.
Consistently.
Yeah, and that was why I was really disappointed with last week, because I didn't see them get better from week 1 to week 2 in anything.
Yeah.
Nothing.
This was not the script, and we all knew that. The script was to be 2-0 right now, show improvement, like Stacy said, from week 1 to week 2, and then in some respects, whatever happened tomorrow didn't matter.
I agree.
You lose the game, you're 2-1, you're playing SIU. Now, a lot of things have changed because now tomorrow does matter. Maybe not in the win or loss, but you've got to show something that makes you, the team, us, maybe, if people care, and your fans, maybe more importantly, that you're doing something to get going in the right direction.
Yeah, and I would say this. I would agree with all that. I think you look at last year's game against Notre Dame where you had Greg Hudson directing traffic and looking like this defense, trying to get his defense to make plays. The defense that actually did make plays for a lot. I just think you want to look like a football team that wants to win, and that's maybe I just felt like going back and watching the television broadcast of the game against Central Michigan. I just thought Purdue was not engaged at all, and I think that may be a very unfair statement, but that's what it looked like. And I think you have to come on a national stage, no matter what happens. You need to find a way to make plays and look like you're intent on doing that for the rest of the season. Now, how you define that, what that means, I don't know. And if Notre Dame just makes more plays and still wins by 3 touchdowns, so be it. I just think you want to have a pulse and compete, and that's we saw that in week 1. We certainly, I agree, did not see that in week 2. Confidence quotients, topic 4, and looking at. There's always been this talk about confidence and what this football program needs. Tough to have. We talked about it coming into after off season of how did you have confidence? How do you manufacture confidence? Which is what they were trying to do, it seemed. Now, where are they with that? I mean, is that just showing well tomorrow help build that confidence that you need?
I asked that question to a lot of players this week for the front page story for our Gold and Black Express, and I guess first off, what do I expect them to say?
Yeah, yeah.
In all honesty, it was a blow last week, and they certainly felt it was a blow because they thought they should and would win that game. So obviously, you're gonna, it's gonna knock you down a peg. I thought it was really interesting that Taylor Richards said we need to approach a win, so having that first game, with humility. So it made me curious then, wondering, and I didn't follow up because I was kind of running around and had to talk to a couple other people too. Did they, which just seems like it would boggle me after 1-11, like did you feel like, see, we knew we were better, we got that first win, and then somehow didn't think Central Michigan was going to be that good? I really hope that's not the case.
Yeah.
It certainly seemed like the way he answered that question, it was kind of weird. But the way they supposedly built confidence in the offseason without games, coming off of 1-11, was because of their work, their preparation, their sweat, as John Shoup would say. So those things can all still be there. I mean, you can still prepare, you can still work hard, you can still try to get better, and certainly going into this game, you're going to have to rely on that, and then probably going into next week as well. I don't know if I answered that, but it's such a hard thing. Like it's a hard thing to gauge because I don't know if Danny Etling has confidence right now, even though I asked him that and he said I'm fine. But then he answered and said it's hard to ignore all the criticism.
Yeah. All right, we have a question. What happened to D'Angelo Yancey? I know he's still young in first Delapo McCarthy question of the day. 2 seemingly talented guys who've shown signs of being really productive in the past, but have fallen off the map. I don't know that McCarthy fell off the map the last little bit. And would you care to answer? Well, McCarthy played. I mean, he played the last couple sets of downs. I know he got in play early in the game as well. Do you think that when Darrell Hazel talked about putting the best guys in the field, was that meant for him? Did you see that this week?
I think he'll play. Well, Stacy and I have our Diet Soda Pop bet on this
yes,
week.
I know you do.
The line is 12, or the over/under is 12. I think he'll play more than 12
plays
on offense.
I think he will be a bigger part of the game plan. Maybe.
Yeah. You're hedging your bets.
I think he's a guy who can beat press coverage, and they need somebody out there who can. Yes.
That was supposedly the reason he did not play receiver last year.
I do think he can. He's bigger and stronger than other guys. And
he
so
sure
he
shown
needs
the
somebody
ability to get open
that can do
some.
that. Does that mean he'll play? We've been asking this question for a while now, so I'm not sure that I want to, with 100% authority, say yes, I think he'll play more. But
the one thing to note about Delapo is he did on Wednesday go make a catch. They practiced inside because it rained, and so they have a net that comes down on one end inside Mollenkoff. And he went up in the corner of the zone, caught the ball, came down, kind of rolled, and his finger got tangled a little bit in the net. So he came back and he continued to practice. But that might be interesting. I mean, he actually had a great catch toward the end of practice with those 2 fingers taped together. But I'm not entirely sure he's going to be healthy, but I think he'll play, and I don't think that would prevent him from playing. For the D'Angelo Yancey side of that equation, we actually did ask Daryl Hazel about that on Wednesday because Yancey did not get any first-team reps on Tuesday in practice, and they are clearly trying to send a message to him that he must be better. They're counting on him in the position that he plays, that certain receiver position, to get off press coverage and to beat man and make plays, and he hasn't done it, and they're telling him, we know you haven't done it. So
Have a higher motor.
yeah, he needs to play faster. Daryl Hazel wants him to play faster, and that's not just. I think yes, it is motor, not to give up on plays, which we've seen before, unfortunately, but also just a lot of that is what you can do at the line. Did you like that?
Okay, there you go. That's well
And
done.
then go vertical.
Hey, we have Jim Everett on
That's
the
what
phone.
I was
and
taught. Those were what Daryl Hazel
I
taught
know.
me this week.
We did. That's good.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. We have Jim on the phone. We're going to take a 2-minute break and come back and talk to Jim Everett from Los Angeles, and we'll talk about 1984 Purdue Notre Dame, but also what it takes to turn a program around. He was involved with that certainly at Purdue and had some NFL experience with that as well. Stay tuned. We'll see you in a couple minutes on Gold and Black Live.